Star Station. But let's get into this, guys. Spawning in the top right position as our blue Zerg player could not handle the Immortal Sentry all-in in game number 1. Can he take game number 2? It is Quantic Gaming's HyuN.
And his opponent currently up 1-0 in this best of 7. We have representing Prime. It is our Red Protoss player, Creator Prime.
All right, so promise.
Give me some facts, Nathanius. Hit
All
me,
right.
man.
Well, I just want to ask you, what do you think the odds are of us seeing the same thing again this game?
Pretty high. I would say they're pretty damn high because we kind of talked about it a little bit during the introductions. It's very difficult to take a third base on this map. I mean, the only way you can really take a third, or the only third you can take, it's the one right next to your main base, towards the right side of your natural. You have your back. You kind of have a back destructible rock kind of leading the way. Of course, Zergling counterattacks can be very, very difficult if you're not going to be able to wall it up in time. And the thing for Zerg that's very good for Zerg on this map is it's very easy to take 3 bases. But something I will note, Nathanius, is the third base right under the natural of the Zerg. If he takes that would actually make an Immortal Sentry push very, very strong. I've seen a lot of people on stream. Not many Zerg players do take this, but occasionally they will. And if a Protoss can actually scout it out, it's such a good position to really place force fields and execute the Immortal Sentry push very, very nicely. But so far, HyuN going for, yet again, I think this time it's a 13 pull from HyuN, I believe. So might have been a little bit earlier, maybe a 14 pull. I really didn't really catch it. But Creator is going for the Nexus first again, it looks like, or maybe a Forge, making me look like a fool. So a little bit of a difference here so far in the opening.
I like this decision. He didn't really scout much, but I think he kind of recognizes that he doesn't want to be too risky against HyuN. He built the pylon in the main base the last game, just in case, but wants to not take too much of a risk. And HyuN, well, his pool is done. He's going to be making 6 Zerglings now, so I mean, if he gets across the map in time, he could do a bit of damage, and that's exactly why he's getting this wall set up so quickly. He actually has another pylon coming in as well. HyuN scouting now, sees pretty much everything. And he's actually making, looks like 2 additional Zerglings to follow up this 6, so 8 lings to open. This is a really aggressive opener promise, and I gotta say, you had to extractor trick to get the queen out. This is a bit difficult. This is a bit interesting, but I don't think he's going to be able to get and do any damage. That cannon should finish if the probe blocks. What do you think?
I think that going for 4 lings would have been a better choice from HyuN. He did scout the Forge first and then decided to make 2 additional lings. If it was a Nexus first, 6 lings would be able to do a lot more damage than they're going to do now. They might be able to pick up a pylon. Creator's going to be able to get the cannon up in time. And it looks like HyuN might just try to kill the pylon, not even going to run away. But he's going to make the smart choice, doesn't want to lose any additional lings. But interesting opening from HyuN. I would have thought 4 lings, but 6 lings. I think he even made 8 lings. I still feel it might have been a little bit of an overextension, but he can always use these to scout, and he can always use these to control the early stages of this game. But he's going to kill the pylon. Not the biggest deal. Unfortunately, or great for Creator. He's not going to get supply block, just going to remake it. Nexus is completed. Back home for HyuN. There is a natural expansion, and he's going to be on 3 bases, so it shouldn't be... we shouldn't be seeing too much aggression here from HyuN, and he isn't grab gas, so it's probably going to be a pretty good macro game here.
Yeah, I have to say, though, this gives a pretty nice edge, I feel, to Creator. They get the Nexus comes up at the same time as the hatchery. If you look at the worker count, he didn't get a crazy early drone lead. He only has 18 to 25 due to that super fast Nexus. And, well, he put, like you said, he did make 8 Zerglings, so that's quite a big investment in terms of the larva as well as the money. So third base is now going up for HyuN, but I feel like Creator's going to be looking pretty strongly towards the mid game. And I think, in all honesty, with how hard it is to get a third, this could possibly only just help him do a 2-base timing even more effectively than we predicted earlier. What do you think?
And yeah, that's a really good point, because Creator, he shines during mid-base timings. Colossus pushes, he's been known to take a third base, go for double robotics facility, hit like a 4 to 6 Colossus push with some pretty good upgrades. So we'll have to see if it's an Immortal Sentry all in. He hasn't started +1 yet. He does have a good amount of gas. Is it going to be Stargate? I'm not really too sure. If he was going to go for some sort of gateway-centric play, he would be going for that +1, but there's a Stargate coming down from Creator, so it's possibly going to be Void Ray Pressure. Of course, he has options of Oracles, and of course, Phoenix, which I would not be surprised. I don't know if you watch any PvZs, Nathanius, but Mutalisks are pretty damn good in this matchup, and I wouldn't be surprised if HyuN even decides to do that on this map.
Yeah, I mean, they could be good if he can get them out as like a surprise unit, but with the Stargate openers that so many Koreans go for, It really makes dealing with mutas a lot easier, especially considering the lead he had from holding off that early Zergling pressure. So I feel like if you're slightly behind, going for straight-up Mutalisk play can be a bit risky, but we don't actually have that Roach Horn. Once again, he's just going to go straight for the lair. And like you said, actually, we're going to get a Void Ray out, which is very interesting, and he's actually getting the Plasma Shields upgrade as well, so this looks like he could be basically going straight for a Sky Protoss type of composition.
And I'm really excited for this because I was looking at the Team Liquid thread and people were predicting that Creator is going to be going for mass air toss, and the fact that he's getting shields level 1, as you mentioned, it's a huge possibility he might just make another Stargate and then go for like crazy amount of Void Rays, eventually transition into a ridiculous hard composition for Zerg players to deal with. Of course, Storm, Void Rays, Carriers even, and then of course Tempests, which is basically an unbeatable army. But there's the Void Ray. It's going to show its face to that Zergling. Of course, the Zergling now knows there's a Void Ray across the map. More upgrades in the production tab, getting his air weapons as well. So definitely looking like it's going to be a pretty heavy commitment here from Creator to really focus on this airplay. But HyuN should be on top of it. Wouldn't be surprised if he makes some more queens. There is another queen in the production tab. Has not made a Spore Crawler. He's actually going for a Hydralisk Den. A pretty good choice from HyuN. Can give him opportunities to possibly go for a timing with the Void Ray in the natural expansion. We'll be able to get 2 drone kills. Queen is going to be in position. But I'm curious to see how Creator is really going to try to buy himself enough time to be able to get an army that takes a little bit of time to actually produce.
Yeah, the reaction for the Hydralisk Den, I feel like HyuN was going to go for this at some point anyway, but not bad at all because it does build way faster than Aspire. He could have gotten a couple Spore Crawlers up, like you said, but no Phoenix stats. I guess his kind of not doing it, his being a bit greedy, will actually pay off since he's not going to get hit with a really harass-heavy style, and he's actually going to take a hatchery in the top left side of the map to immediately compensate for this. And he's also opening with the speed instead of the Hydralisk range. And I think this is pretty smart for being able to get around between his bases to defend. Yeah. But he's not going to have that early range to help catch the Void Rays. What do you think about this decision for speed instead of range? You kind of nailed it. I mean, he's creep spread. He's trying to connect the natural in the third base in case the Void Rays try to swing around towards that side or even the top left 4th expansion. So his speed of deciding to go Hydralisk speed instead of Zergling speed can give him opportunities to be aggressive or to be able to defend against any kind of additional Void Ray harassment a lot easier. But he's actually making more Hydralisks in the production tab. We see 8 more. We see the muscular augments, of course. These Hydralisks have been lifting. They're going to be much stronger by the time they make their way towards the center of the map. But he's going to be pressure, or he's going to be applying pressure, and this is kind of the weakness of air tosses. You're not going to have any ground units to be able to defend this. You are basically relying on Void Rays to be able to defend it. More Void Rays in the production tab, and this is going to be... I'm curious to see how Creator is actually going to be able to defend this, but oh my god. He actually has 7 Void Rays. He's going to be able to defend this, man. Yeah, triple Stargate production, not something you see very often. But you know what? We said this base is hard. It's hard to get the third base in this map, and Creator's managed to do that with absolutely no problem at all, thanks to the way that he's opened. And HyuN is going to scout all this out now, but even with that many Hydralisks, there's still the Time Warp. The sentries can partition off a couple of them. So I feel like HyuN in the later stages, if he can get a good engagement, he's going to need a great arc. He's going to need to bypass the sentries. But like you said, he's so vulnerable to this forward pressure.
And he's still continuing to be aggressive across the map with the natural expansion of Creator. And he's doing a pretty good job. I mean, he has a supply advantage, 152 to 128. A little bit of a supply blockage, not a big deal. If we compare Harvesters, 69 drones to 66 probes. But you kind of mentioned it again. I mean, Creator is now taking a pretty easy third. He hasn't really had anything to worry about, no counterattacks of Zerglings, nothing like that. And HyuN is making a Spire, so... Corruptors are an option, of course. In the later stages, there's Vipers, but that's a lot of units from HyuN, and of course, these Void Rays do have that Prismatic Alignment. There's a Time Warp here onto the Hydralisk, and this is going to be very, very close engagement for Creator and from HyuN, but it looks like Creator is going to be on top of it, man.
Yeah, all those Hydralisks are going to die. The Zerglings managed to break off into the natural and the main base, trying to chew away at these probes. Always fun to see the Prismatic Alignment. It doesn't actually affect the Hydralisks. It's almost instinctive to just use it before a fight, though. And he is going to kill not really too much. He's actually only killed 2 probes this whole game, so really, really good fight for Creator. He's barely lost any Void Rays, and now he's going to get his Templar Archives up and his Protoss Air Armor level 1, so really, really good fight for Creator. What do you think?
I completely agree 100%, and if you look at it, in this point in the game, Creator has to feel extremely confident for actually just winning it straight up. Now it's up to HyuN to figure out what composition to be going for. How many Corruptors does he make? Does he go into Vipers? He's 18 Mutalisks. I'm not too sure I agree with that decision. I mean, Mutas are good against Void Rays, but when you have this many and you have the Prismatic Alignment ability, it can really sometimes even swing in the Void Ray's favor. Plus, he has some really, really good upgrades. So I'm not too sure what HyuN is going to be able to do with these Mutas. Maybe he can swing into the mineral line and do a little bit of economic damage. But now it's Storm. Now it's
yeah, and a really big threat here now coming in towards the natural expansion mineral line.
Templar, and he's going to be able to transition into a gateway-centric army. I'm feeling a little bit worried for HyuN. I'm not really too sure what composition he's going to be going for. Muta's in the natural expansion. We'll be able to pick off a few additional probes. Creator's going to be on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know the other thing is he has these 3 Stargates, so he can immediately start producing a ton of Phoenix, which can just make dealing with this so difficult. And he's going on for a little bit of a push here towards the right side base, but the Mutalisks, so they're going to be able to catch this. He's actually going to recall home, so nice save there by Creator. But once he gets enough Phoenix out, I'm not so sure how effective the Mutalisks are going to be.
Mutas are still flying around the map. He's making more. He's making Infestors. Infestors are, of course, a pretty good option against these Void Rays. But it's going to be Storm, it's going to be Phoenix, it's going to be Void Rays. You're going to need to play very reactively to see kind of how many units or how many Void Rays, how many Phoenix is your opponent making. And HyuN is going to control the map, which is going to be good in his favor. But a lot of Zergs at this point just don't even attack. They play very, very defensively. They make they spam spines, they spam spores, Mutalisks at the natural expansion. Phoenix are going to be revealed, and HyuN still doing a little bit of damage, but Creator is defending here very, very nicely.
Yeah, he doesn't have the critical mass of Phoenix he needs yet to just completely crush all of these, but with the Void Ray support, he should be able to take them out either way. 6 probes total killed now by HyuN. He's taking another base. He's actually taking basically all of the rest of the bases on his side of the map except for the gold, so he's trying to get himself a nice advantage here and just buy as much time, slow down the growth of that Protoss air fleet, but Creator Prime, man, he's almost at 170 supply. He's going to go take a 4th base now, and I'm not so sure HyuN can really stop him.
He is going to swing around in the natural again, killing more probes, but Creator very mobile here with this air army. And, you know, they're both even in some... Ooh, really good fungals on the Phoenix, but the Mutalisks are a lot... Oh my god. Do I even have to say anything about this? So many Mutalisks died in that engagement for HyuN. But, I mean, the supply count is very even, but the actual army composition of Creator is much stronger compared to what HyuN's making. He's making Hydralisks, and I feel like HyuN might be a little bit confused, and Creator is actually pushing towards the right side of the map with the Hydras at the same time. Mutalisks at the natural expansion, so both players being very, very aggressive here into each other's economy.
Yeah, and we have a couple Zealots on the bottom right side picking off HyuN's expansion, and he's actually pushing in towards this right side base. He's got a couple Templar here. They do have Psionic Storm upgrade and enough energy for it, so this is going to be pretty difficult for HyuN to stop. He doesn't have that many Hydralisks here with this force. The Mutalisks still ducking around in the bottom right, as you said, but the Void Rays are chasing them. He's picking off a couple of probes, but his big issue here right now is this little Void Ray fleet with the Archon taking out his expansions.
And I love what Creator's doing. He has some units in the main and the natural, and he's also still continuing to pressure. He's going to kill a hatchery. HyuN's now going to be limited to 4 base. He needs to take another expansion very, very soon. He's going to be in a lot of trouble, and of course, Creator still has that Mothership Core. In case he feels a little bit of danger, he can just recall straight back to any of the next eye on the map, and HyuN is still being aggressive with these Hydralisks. And I feel, I mean, what do you do against Nathanias? Do you make Vipers? Do you make Corruptors? Do you just, you know, play defensive and make Spines and Spores and try to take it to, like, an hour-long game? It's just very, very difficult for Zerg players to actually find out how to deal with this composition at the natural expansion of HyuN. The engagement going down, and I feel like this is going to be the killing blow for Creator against HyuN in this game.
Yeah, just so much firepower in this army. He's got the Storms, he has the Archons, and all of these Void Rays with that 1-1-1 upgrades. And now, yeah, there's the GG from HyuN. He just couldn't handle it. So, man, you were...